Hello, I'm PDYX.
And I'm AntKeepsGaming, and welcome to Playing It Wrong, the show where we play random online Nintendo games and talk about them.
That's right, each episode we're going to take one random NES game and one random SNES game from the games available on the NSO service on the Nintendo Switch, and we're going to play them for at least 30 minutes each and talk about our opinions of those games.
Playing It Wrong, Episode 9.
So week 9, and we're coming up on week 10, almost 10 weeks of this.
It's been a long journey.
It's been a long journey. This week we played NES Open Tournament for our NES game, and we played Pilotwings for our SNES game.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think of the week? Just sort of briefly, big picture. Fun week, bad week, mixed bag?
Well, let's just say, before we continue, when we've been releasing these episodes, they've been coinciding with what you guys have been talking about, which is awesome. We're in a future recording this anyway, but when we've released the episodes, first of all, we had a Metroid week, then we had a Metroid game to talk about, which was really interesting. Well, I say well, you guys had to talk about the podcast, and then we talk about Mario, Super Mario Golf Rush, or whatever it's called. I actually don't know the name of the game, the newest one for the Switch, and we played Mario Golf game, so it's really quite weird. So.
Yeah, well, some of them are timing out with release, and then some of them are timing out with not release. Like this one. When we release this one, it won't time out. But I know what you're saying. It is funny.
Yeah, it is very weird. I don't know how you even had to start this episode really with these two games. It's kind of hard until you get used to the controls, both games, but in their different ways. It's the same, but different. Does that make sense?
Yes, I agree. Both of these games were not fun at first and really frustrating, but then I started to get the hang of them.
Yeah, that was the problem with me. Like, I didn't know the controls for either game and how to handle both games. And when I finally managed to work out the controls and stuff, it made sense, and then they became fun. So
let's dig in a little deeper to the first one, the NES game. So yeah, like you said, it's the original Mario Golf game, even though it's not called that. It's called NES Open Tournament. And I think this was a later NES game. I want to say it came out in 90 and 91. 91, yeah. How much did you play this Open Tournament, and how far did you get?
Well, first I started on the UK tour.
Uh-huh.
And, I completely failed at the controls. Completely. It just didn't look like my ball was going anywhere at all. I was hitting it. I was using every sort of club you can think of in that game. Every single shot of the golf ball, because you can, pick what side to hit the ball and stuff, top, bottom, middle. Didn't do anything. It was like, what am I doing wrong? So I thought, maybe it's just the course. It's the course's fault. So.
Yep.
So then I was like, okay, I can't do proper British golfing right here, so I went to the US Open instead. US route, sorry. And then after that, I was still struggling, and I was like, how do I hit this ball in the hole?
Yeah, so did you end up actually playing a few holes, or did you quit after 10 minutes, or how long did you last?
Well, I was going to quit after about 12 minutes. And then after that, I was going to say, it got to 12 minutes. I was like, do you know what? I can't do this. I'm going to have to just quit. And then it'd be a boring, video, because I put these on my YouTube. It's going to be very boring and everyone's going to hate me. But no, I got actually, I think it's 30 minutes maybe afterwards.
Okay.
And because I didn't know that you had to not only press A button once, but you've got to press it again. Because I saw, once you hit when you press the A and the cursor moves, another cursor shoots off the screen. And I was like, my ball's not going anywhere. I must have to press A twice or something. So then once I pressed A twice, then I hit the ball and I was like, and it came to me, my mind was blown. And I was like, that's how you do it. And I was like, okay. So then after that, after I found out the controls, it was good. It was fun. And then, I said to myself, right, I get to hole 10 on the US Open. I don't even know if it's called the US Open, so I apologise. But the US course, and I got to hole 10. So I get to hole 10 and then we'll stop. And then I got to hole 10, I've got a couple more minutes. Let's do some more. Actually,
nice.
Got really fun.
I had about the same experience. I played for about 45 minutes. I would only say I completed about 5 or 6 holes, though, but I had about the first 20, maybe even more, longer than that, minutes of just hitting the ball 2 yards, doing the same thing over and over and thinking something different would happen until I was like, if I can't figure this out, and by this amount of time, I'm going to look it up. And I looked it up and saw that you are supposed to, as you said, hit the A again for the power, but it just is not obvious. It's not explained.
No.
That's not uncommon for these games. They had manuals. So I looked it up and then it got a lot better.
As Happy Gilmore, the film Happy Gilmore, just tap it in. Just tap, tap, tap. Just tap, tap, tap-a-roo. If anyone's seen that, please tell me someone's seen that.
Oh, yeah.
I love that film.
So, yeah, I think it's not an obvious way to hit the meter. It really feels like you're just trying to wait till it gets to that one spot, but you have to actually do there's a power meter and then where accuracy shot or whatever, but it's not obvious. Once you know that, though, it's a lot more intuitive.
Yeah. And it's the same with the whole, you've got different sort of speeds, or you've got like low, medium, fast, or slow. And I thought if you have it on fast and you hit it fast, that's what made you hit the ball further. But that wasn't the case at all. That wasn't the case. I was like, oh, okay, so it's not how you do it. I thought maybe I was using the wrong club. So, because I haven't played golf, so I was like, okay, so I'm pretty sure it was the club for, driving it, or the driver to hit it as far as possible, and then use the thinner, I don't even know if you still call them clubs, and to hit them closer towards the hole. But I know what the putter is. The putter is probably the only one I know in golf. So I thought maybe I was using the wrong club. Maybe I was hitting it. Maybe I was supposed to hit it at the bottom or something. But then in the end, it wasn't none of that. It was just literally A and then A again.
Yeah, I had the exact same experience. There's all these little things that look like it could be it, but it wasn't. And all those things are obviously just minor adjustments. But yeah, frustrating experience, but ended up being okay. I think, beyond that, that's really the whole of the gameplay is just pushing A, and then selecting, what club and whether you, like you said, you hit the top of the ball or the bottom and you swing fast or slow. I didn't get far enough to like really dig into that stuff. But, after having played other golf games that are more modern, the game's all right. The gameplay itself is fine. It's not like golf games have changed dramatically, but at the same time, like, I don't know about you, but it sounds like you tried a couple of the courses. I tried a couple of the courses and modes and stuff, and they just all look the same.
I just blamed the course for me not hitting the ball. It's the course's fault.
Yeah. But they all look the same. So it's kind of like, it's an old game, so I can't blame it too much, but there wasn't much variation between Japan, US, and UK, which are the courses. And then there was like sort of a stats page, and then sort of like a, like a more like play a bunch of different things and like you can bet a guy, but I didn't have any money, so I couldn't bet him. So I don't know. I was, and he called me a chump. I took offense.
That's rude.
What did you think about? What did you think about like beyond just the like controls, the rest, I don't know, the aesthetics or the rest of the modes or any of that? Did you mess around with anything?
No, it was literally just the single player modes. Just trying 2 different courses. I didn't try any of the other modes. Even I think because I was having so much fun in the end, I just wanted to play that than the other modes, which I probably should have tried.
No, there wasn't anything new to them, really.
Nah.
It's all the same.
Like I didn't.
Once you get going, it actually is okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's the same, like, as we go into Pilotwings in a minute, but it's the same with both of these games, but it's the same, but in a different ways. And with this one, it's like, as soon as you know the controls, having a good time, but it doesn't tell you what to do, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, would you recommend people play this one?
Yeah, I'd recommend they give it a chance, like a kind of like a medium sort of recommendation, because like
Yeah.
I think some of these games you just have to figure out for yourself. Like as we did, we figured it out for ourselves, and then we enjoyed it afterwards. So
yeah, I agree. I think it's all right. Give it a shot if you're looking for a free golf game if you have NSO. But if you're looking for a great golf game, there's a lot of other good ones. You know, the new Mario Golf. There's plenty of those. There's Golf Story. There's more realistic ones. So yeah, but it's decent.
Yeah.
What about our Super Nintendo game this week being Pilotwings? You're kind of hinting that it was sort of the same. How far into it, or how long did you play, and how far did you make it into the game?
I think I got to the half hour mark with that. With this one, as I said, same sort of thing with. I'm just going to call it Mario Golf NES because it's got Mario on the front. It's got Mario in it. It's Mario Golf NES. That's what I'm going to say. It's really weird. I said it's the same sort of thing that you don't know how to use the controls, because what I found out with these controls compared to Mario Golf was they're very precise. I don't know if you found this.
Yeah.
Because at first I did terrible, and I'm sorry, David, I know you like this game. Please don't watch my video on it. Please don't. I'm begging you, don't watch it. Because I did absolutely terrible. I'm probably like one of the worst Pilotwings people out there.
I'm right there with you. I can't imagine I was any better.
I mean, how far did you get? Like, I got my 2 certificates, and I was on the 3rd one, and I stopped there.
Yeah, same. I played for about 30 minutes, and that's about where I got to. I played Mario Golf for about 45 minutes, partly because I think it was a little bit more fun for me, and also because it took me a lot longer to get just the basics down, and I felt like I should give it a shot once that happened. But here, yeah. I have to say, I did not enjoy this game very much. Like I was ready. I pushed through to just get 30 minutes in, but I was ready to quit a lot sooner.
I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, the controls are very precise when I was playing it. It's like oh my God. I think the only best bit about it was you get like it's called something else in it, but like a rocket belt or something. I think it wasn't even called rocket belt. And I think that's the only one I was good at.
Yeah. That was the most intuitive. I agree.
Then it was probably, oh God, I think it was the plane next, but and then the parachute. Oh my God. Like, I got used to the plane because I found out in the end, if you just press the B button to brake just once, it will lower your speed by 1, and you press A, accelerates by 1. I found that once I knew that sort of system for the plane, I was like, oh, okay. Cause at first I was doing terrible. I was crashing. I was missing the rings, everything you could think of. Everything that went wrong, pretty much. And then it's like press forward to tilt your nose down. It's like all these precise little things. It's not, you hold it down. You got to literally press forward like a little tiny bit, and you press A once or B once to brake or accelerate. And as soon as I knew that, that's it. Right. Okay. Let's concentrate here. Let's do that. And it actually turned out well. I actually managed to get through some rings, all of them. And then the only other trouble I had was landing. Managed to land in the end by, as I said, accelerating and braking, just tapping it gently. And then in the end, that actually turned pretty alright. And then came to the parachuting. I think the first lesson was plain parachute, and then the next lesson was plain parachute rocket belt.
Right.
And then the parachute, oh my God. That was so annoying. That was kind of like similar to the plane where you had to just do little taps like forward, back. Because at first I thought, oh, you got to hold the forward button to go to this next circle. But that wasn't the case. If you hold circle, you go like above it and just miss the ring completely, because you got these like rings you have to go through. I missed it completely. But then I did it a few times, and then just tilt the stick. You got literally little like pushes with the stick either way to like, I still wasn't very good at the end of it, but I still managed to do it, and then got to the 3rd license or certificate thing, and then I stopped. I was like, okay, this is enough for me. But as you said, NES Open Golf Tournament was much more enjoyable. I could play that more than definitely this game.
Me too. I had a very extremely similar experience to yours, and one thing too, so I don't know what happens once you get these certificates, if there's more gameplay or not, but like I found it frustrating because you get a certain amount of points for doing the plane and then a certain amount of points for doing the parachute, and then if you get a total of the correct amount of points, they give you the certificate and you can move on. Well, so like I would do the plane and feel like, okay, I didn't do very well, I kind of want to redo that, but you can't. Like, you have to restart the game. It wanted you to then do the parachute. And I just felt like that was not a great way I was like, I needed to practice one of them over and over,
Yeah.
And having to restart the game felt really frustrating. And that bothered me. And also, like, I just didn't find it very fun. Like, I like more arcadey games than more simulator type games, like, for racing or flying or anything like that. I don't need it to feel very realistic. And it's not like this is ultra realistic, but it's more on that end. And I just didn't find trying to land a plane precisely very, very much fun. And I certainly didn't find it fun when then I couldn't just like retry.
Going for those certificates. It's funny as well because you've probably killed so many people trying to land that plane and stuff, and they still said, "Oh, well, that was really good." It's like, well, no, I probably seriously injured somebody here.
Totally. When they gave me my first certificate, I was like, I'm not sure I deserve this.
How many people died to get your certificate?
And it just kind of, I know this is a classic game, and I think, at the time it probably would have held up better than it does now, which is an interesting discussion about a lot of these games, is how much they hold up now versus, judging them by how good they would have been then. But this one for me just was not that great. And it's not like it looks bad, but it's kind of a plain looking game too. I don't know, like it wasn't super great graphics that while I'm flying this plane were dazzling me.
I think it's with Pilotwings, I think it could be fun. It could be, but the controls are so precise. It's just probably impossible to enjoy.
Yeah, if you like that sort of more sim precision, like I know some people do, then it's probably not even the best. There's probably better games out there now, but like, I can see why people liked it and all that. I was ready to quit.
I mean, I was, until I thought, okay, let's just go this a different way. Let's try just gentle taps. Because obviously when you come to your head, you're thinking like, oh, okay, I hold something down to go that way, but then it overshoots it. You're like, okay, so maybe I don't hold it down and just press slightly here and there. It's so precise. And even like landing, like the parachuting, well, not just parachuting, but just when you try and land in the circle to get points as well, that is so hard. So
yeah, the parachute, I'd agree. The parachute is definitely the worst. And I think this is a problem that I don't want to harp on this too much, but a lot of old games have this. Even some modern games have this of like, I want to learn the game by playing the game, and just like failing a game where then you have to go back to a screen and it doesn't really give you a quick retry, and maybe you have to like even restart the game. Like to me, that's just a huge, amount of friction or imposition on me wanting to just experiment. Because if I could just like hit retry and then try the plane again, I could probably get the controls down quickly. But there's all this, I forget the names of the characters, like Shirley and Tony were just like giving me a hard time.
Yo, Tony. Yeah. Yeah. As soon as you do one, doesn't matter if you've failed or passed it, you cannot go back to try it again, which is very annoying. Once you do them all, whether or not you failed or not, and you retry, you have to start again then. That's the only time you can do it, which is quite annoying. Because even I was like, oh, it's redded out. It's not green anymore. I can't go back and do this one again. Get like maybe higher points or stuff.
Right. It's like, you're going to give me a certificate if I completely crash this plane, but can jump out of it. Okay. Yeah. Like that's not good. I feel like I should master. It also just kind of felt like, plane, parachute. Okay, like they feel different, they control different than plane, parachute, rocket belt. I need to stick with one and get good at it, and then move me on to another one.
No, that's absolutely right. You can't even though they've all got precise controls with the three that we done anyway. I think the next one was a glider anyway. I thought, no. Even though it was all like different things, they did have different like precise controls for each one of them, if that makes sense. Even though there's like not many buttons, it's like, with the aeroplane, as I said, you tilt just a little bit left and right, just brake with the A and B, slowly accelerate, whatever. And then you got like the parachute, which is slowly, push up and down and left and right. Yeah, it's as you said, you need practice for each one individually to get good at it.
Last piece on it, like I understand again why people might have a nostalgia for this game, or if you're the right kind of player, this game might appeal to you more. But trying this game now with zero experience or knowledge about it, I just found it very frustrating.
Yeah, that's us. We have no prior experience. That's us.
Well, so this is an interesting one. Then, would you recommend anybody check out Pilotwings?
I think if you're nostalgic for it and you were brought up with these games, I'd go for it. But if you're someone like me and you, Patrick, that haven't had this sort of game played before, or played before, I wouldn't recommend.
If you really like, if and you like this kind of, game, then maybe. But for both both the Mario Golf or NES Open Tournament or whatever, and this original Pilotwings, there are future iterations of these games, right? Like they made a Pilotwings a resort or whatever, and I'm sure that has a little bit better controls and better graphics. They made multiple different Mario Golf games that have better, more intuitive controls and better graphics and more characters. So it's kind of hard to be like, unless you're really interested in these series or you don't have access to those other games. I don't know.
I think it's kind of like, it's down to you with these recommendations, I think.
Yeah.
If you've played them before or not. As I said, if you've played them before, go for it. If you haven't, then you can still go for it, but it might be a bit harder for you.
I think, be warned, this will be a frustrating experience on either of these games. Well, is there anything that, about either game or the week overall that we didn't talk about that you want to make sure and mention?
No, I can't think of anything. I think we've covered it all with both these games. As I said, they're similar in their own ways, but then different. It's the same as in, you got to get used to the controls, but then slightly different because a golf game and being a pilot. Little taps with just knowing what you're doing.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, that's right. They're both kind of precision-oriented simulation games. So if you're into that, go for it. And if you're not, avoid at all costs. Yeah. Well, so it's next week. It's going to be week 10, right? And we're going to do something a little special for that. Nothing too crazy, but we'll maybe leave it at that, or maybe we can say that there'll be somebody joining us.
Dun, dun, dun.
But we're going to go ahead and pick the games that we're going to play right now. Ant, do you want to give us our Playing It Wrong countdown?
Yes. So you guys ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's play it wrong.
All right. We've got your favorite style of game, Ant. Volleyball for the NES.
Volleyball?
You love the what do you call it? The sports games, right?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Your favorite your favorite kind of game, a sports game. We got volleyball for the NES.
Please, not another sport game. Come on.
No, you're lucky here. I think this is a good one. We got Joe and Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics.
Mm.
So there's 2 Joe and Mac games, obviously. And I think they're both on the NSO. Though the first one, I think, came out later. Anyway, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Joan Mac 2, I've definitely played through at least one of the Joan Mac games. I don't remember which one when I was a kid, and it's been a long time, but they're kind of fun, beat 'em up kind of action games. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, just soaking it in.
I'm just soaking it in. I was just because I didn't want to interrupt you because I was thinking, do you know what about these games? Sometimes it's like we always get like the second or third one. We never get the first one first.
No, of course not. That's why it's random.
That's why it's wrong.
Yeah, that's why this is the wrong way to do this. Yeah, well, I think I don't know. That sounds like that's going to be a mixed week. We will find out. I don't know how good volleyball will be, but based on previous experience, I'm not very hopeful. And based on my nostalgia, at least, I think Joan Mac is going to be good, but I could be wrong about that.
Okay.
I guess that does it for this week. Next week, we'll talk all about volleyball and Joan Mac 2.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening to Playing It Wrong. This podcast is a collaboration between Super Switchheads and AntKeepsGaming. Check out the weekly Super Switchheads podcast, and also check out AntKeepsGaming on YouTube. Our music is provided by Bent Neatly. Thanks again. Bye.